and I agree that I don't feel that we've well addressed their concerns. While each of us has individual rights, and I'm cautious of infringing on those, I also think that it's paramount to our success as a council to encourage trust in ourselves and the city through our actions and words. And I do believe that we should hold ourselves and each other to a higher standard to meet those goals. So with that in mind, I would recommend that we as a council do what it is in our power, which is to issue a public censure of Councilor Stone in reference to the interactions with a resident whose opinions he did not agree with. I feel like if we can't stand for civility and equality of our citizens, then how can we or anyone else take us seriously for standing for anything?
Okay.
I would second that motion.
I don't know if it's an emotion. A motion. Is that, are you making a motion?
Yes, sorry.
All right, if you're going to make a motion, you got to say it again, because I didn't get all that.
I can email it to you.
Can I make a comment before we continue with that?
Of course.
I just, taking a step back, that did we just not, the mayor just say not shortly ago that, we should publicly publicize this, a motion before, and put it on the next agenda? Now we're doing another motion that is not going to be publicized and put on the next agenda. So now we're not following the rules in which we are supposed to.
So what I was going to say, with regard to this when it got to be my turn to do future agenda items and directives, was to put this on the next meeting, because I did send out to everybody. Yes, it was today, it wasn't Friday, so it could be included in the packet. But it was a follow-on to guidance that legal counsel gave that you are in receipt on about what we can and cannot do. There's a lot of misconception in the public about what any member of the council can do with regard to another member. And I wanted to review all of that, but we can put it on a agenda item. I do agree with Councilor Kier. We need to get this resolved. I think
It's just been over a month since we got the legal advice, so I just was feeling like I didn't want it to fall off and us not address anything. And I feel like we've had multiple weeks where we have people here, and I feel like we just look like we're trying to ignore it, and I don't want that to be the case.
Right. In response to that, I don't feel like we have been. I do believe that our progress towards whatever hasn't been as quickly as people would like to see.
No, I agree. I think the perception, I'm trying to talk about what I think the perception is. It's not necessarily that we haven't been talking about it or meaning to do anything. It's just the public perception is we haven't.
Right. Meanwhile, we've been talking about at both the joint meeting and our prospective governing body meetings about inclusion and diversity and reviewing the code of conduct and working with legal counsel about what does that all look like. And it won't happen overnight. But as I said, I sent everybody today a letter which says what your options are, and I think before
What time did you send it?
we take, yeah,
Okay.
it was late.
Okay, sorry.
So,
55, I think it was.
yes. So I think everybody would be best served if the council had time to digest that, and we put it on as an agenda item for discussion on the 27th of February. Is that
That'd be
okay?
fine.
Would somebody withdraw their motion? That would.
I will withdraw my motion.
And
Okay.
I'll withdraw the second.
All right. All those in favor?
We don't have to do
We
that.
don't
We'll
have to.
draw.
Okay. It's
Can I ask you
getting
a
late.
question about that?
Yes.
It's just, it's odd to me because what you sent out presents options. And so we would review those options at the next meeting, and then if so moved, these counselors would bring forward the same option at that meeting?
If after the council looks at all of the options and that's the procedure that they want, if that's the option that they choose, then we will go down that road. Okay? And Councilor Stone.
I'm invoking personal privilege, Council Rule 18. And what that means is, you all should do some independent investigation to find out the merits of this. I don't know what investigations you've done, other than maybe some emails sent to you, but maybe I'll find out. But the facts and circumstances is what we deal in. Just like maybe we should have an independent review done to see if there's interference done by the mayor, since we keep having that addressed here on numerous occasions. Am I clear? Maybe I just heard tonight from Ms. Hurley that we now have someone else who's being accused of interference during a shooting, which is a police investigation handled by the Attorney General's office that she mentioned tonight. Did everybody catch that? Yes. Maybe you should watch it again. You might catch it the second time. So if that's the case, maybe I'll make a motion that we direct independent legal counsel to investigate the mayor in regards to interference, since that's been brought time and time again since Mr. McNutt's termination. And that's a motion. Independent legal counsel, since I've already spoke with 2 law enforcement entities that recommended private legal counsel be the best avenue to investigate that impartially.
Councilor Ahern?
I'm going to go back to what I just said again. We can put that on the next agenda. That's the concern of the counselor, because again, we're not until public notice of motions, I guess. So that's what I think we should do. Move that to the same thing for the night of yours and his, and we'll continue those conversations then with motion.
Okay.
And I'd also like to make a motion that Mark Chase is here as the chief of police of Claremont for that evening discussion.
You
Since he
don't have to
possesses
make a-
facts and the
You
recommendations.
don't have to make a motion, you can make it the recommendation. Or
That'll
make
work.
the request.
I have one more thing.
Yes.
Not sure you're gonna like it, but I was making a request that on the next agenda that we have a discussion about revisiting Council Rule 23 for discussion.
Which is what?
Who determines and how the agenda is set?
Okay. We can do that.
Thank you.
We still on the agenda items?
Apparently
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Well, before we all leave tonight, I brought everyone candy, so I don't really know. Probably an
So are they Snickers bars?